Hey there everybody, we're back with another one of our Comic-Con 2022 videos. This is actually, we did this video like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago, just a kind of a basic convention backpack video. So this is a refresh of that and very specific to 2022 as well. That to be said already at the top, please throw in the comments anything that you find as a must-take on the floor. For us, we approach the con very much as being specifically about hitting the floor. Not that we don't hit some panels, and we'll talk about that as well, but a lot of it's about the floor, being able to carry, you know, swag that we find, small purchases, etc. Also for us at Comic-Con, it's really important to us that we park in the convention center. So that's always our goal. We try to park underneath the convention center there so we can access things and kind of refill, drop off, etc. So those are just some kind of disclaimers to throw in at the top here. But the backpack itself, not that this is a great backpack. I mean, honestly, I'm always just buying whatever backpack is cheap and has enough compartments to kind of, you know, break things up there and stuff like that. Always carrying water and a few snacks, because food can become hard to come by at Comic-Con with all of the attendees. So just some chips, granola bars, carrots, things like that at the convention floor. Particularly if you're gonna do a Hall H day, I mean, it is really hard to get decent food in Hall H. We did one year the get into Hall H at like 7:30, 8 a.m. and then we stayed, that's back when they did the WB after hours thing. And so we stayed straight through a Saturday in Hall H all the way till midnight when that wrapped. And all we ended up eating, because we didn't pack our bag, I mean, we had a few things in our bag, but for the most part, was like hot dogs and nachos, and just the snack bar was not great in Hall H. So we like to have some things, and even if we're going to plan to have other meals, we like to have a few things just because sometimes you don't want to wait in line. Now, the bag itself, I mean, I always keep my headphones in there in a separate compartment that's easy to access. Of course, a charger. When Comic-Con time comes, it's going to be a much heavier brick than this, honestly, and it weighs too much to carry that I don't love, but we just use so much internet with all of the video that we do, the uploads, the social media, all of that. In the bag also always have a pen or Sharpie. Got another bag I'll show in a second, but Hasbro Pulse giving out the pens there. Got medication. I don't need to show every type of medication, but our Claritin type knockoff brands there. Lotion for the skin there, and even things like we bring some like Advil and Pepto-Bismol and Aleve D, and you know, things like that, just to have a few of each thing extra, be able to plug in wherever we go and all of that. Now this one thing to show here is clear up a little bit of room. I keep a baggie like this inside, and so in it, a number of things to use. Rubber bands. Now I did want to say, in this video we're not showing like a poster tube or anything like that. There's a few different types of poster tubes, or even like acrylic type, you know, top loader type things that we've used. Usually what we do is we keep a master poster tube and a master acrylic up top loader in the car, in the trunk, and then we keep kind of an easy grab poster tube up top. And so if we get something like, if we get pulled for a WB signing and it's some amazing poster that we really don't want to get dinged up, we just kind of carry that very carefully off the floor and put it in the car in the nice acrylic top loader. For the free posters that maybe like Fox is handing out, or the various booths that are just kind of throwing out some Hasbro posters, those we'll just kind of bind up and put in the poster tube. Make sure whatever poster tube you get though, to be careful as you're carrying it, because a lot of times it can get dinged on either end of it, and so you kind of got to be careful with those poster tubes. I know in the early days of Comic-Con, we kind of just threw it in there and carried it like this, and it was always getting dinged on the tops or bottoms or things like that. But anyway, rubber bands can help for those quick kind of things that we're not maybe quite as concerned about. Keep some safety pins, even some paper clips as well, just to kind of have those available. You never know what you might need to. I mean, for us with the social media stuff we do in meeting like different companies and stuff, we keep a little business card holder there to do like booth tours and things like that. Lanyard, I always like to have my own lanyard on top of the one that we get at whatever convention, in this case Comic-Con, just in case, I don't know, there's breaks, or I don't love the one that they have, or whatever it might be. Sometimes it's easier using one like this is from the famous Monsters booth at Comic-Con, so it's easier to kind of find me as well. Keep some business cards in there as well. I keep tape, a little bit of tape in there, because you never know when you're going to need to tape something up or keep something secure. Post-it notes for little notes that I might want to take as I go along. We tweeted this out as a tip today, but just some Sharpies, some different colors, because you never know when you might run into somebody that you want to get a signing done. And even sometimes when you're in line for like a formal signing, they may only have like a black, and it's like, oh, well, can you use red or silver or things like that. A couple extra pins and things like that in there too. So I keep that little mini bag with a variety of things that are really easy to access, because I don't want them like floating all around through the bag. I always keep a sweatshirt with me. I tend to get cold, particularly in panel rooms. It's very rare, even when it's 100 degrees outside, that I'll be in a panel room without a sweatshirt on, just because usually the air conditioning is amped up. So I hate carrying it because it is a pain, but I find it necessary. This one's a little thicker than usually what I bring to Comic-Con, but oftentimes I can roll it up pretty tight there and it won't take up too much room. The Walking Dead bag, if you followed our stuff for years, you know that this is like my favorite Comic-Con or any convention accessory is this bag. So in the old days, Anchor Bay used to give these out, and they'd have Walking Dead on one side and then Evil Dead, or I'm sorry, Asterisk the Evil Dead, or Spartacus, or Black Sails, or whatever it be. But it fits perfectly for comics. So I brought a few comics just to kind of show of why, we keep it, because for us, I can keep the backpack on and then have this, and it fits perfectly in there. So to me, this pretty much works for most things. And as I'm getting, swag on the floor, pins, buttons, whatever, I'm just kind of dropping it in there on top, and then I don't have to really worry much about it. It's a really easy way to get it. Even my sweatshirt can go in here, whatever it might be. In the car, because we park near the convention center or under the convention center when we're able to, we always keep extras of these. So in some cases we just drop this off filled with swag and then pick up a new empty one. In the older days, I'd say like 2016 and before, we did that with WB bags. We still bring the old school, like if you're an old school Comic-Con attendee, you remember the massive WB bags. We still carry those to kind of have them in the car, but it's been a while since we've really used them on the floor, because just around, 2017 maybe, the swag kind of changed. It became more about photo ops than it did about those types of things. I keep a little spot to write in. This is maybe too big or heavy for some people, but I like having a spot to be able to write in. Obviously we have our phones to take notes in as well. This folder, I always keep some sort of kind of like autograph type folder, we call it, or in our case, like we've got our parking vouchers in there, things like that. But we can add, different, if we need a confirmation for the hotel. Now, granted, these days we use a lot more on our phone, but there's still a lot of things we cover in the theme park world and convention world where they ask us to print something out and they collect it. At Star Wars Celebration, they asked us to print out the autograph signing tickets and stuff. So I like to have this, but the biggest thing I like to have this for is if we get an 8x10 signed or something like that, or we get a map signed or things like that, this is an easy place to be able to keep it a little bit safe. And again, we might want to drop it off at the car pretty quick, but it gives us kind of an option there. What else? Oh, so this year with masks being required, I always keep extra masks. I always keep napkins as well, like a stack of napkins in my bag, but also extra masks in the bag. So these would be, like, lack of a better term, emergency masks that I'll pull out to use in case we lose ours, or just like a day like today that we're out here recording, it's 85 degrees, so it's kind of warm and muggy, and if we're asked to wear them like certain places outdoors or something like that, I definitely am the type of person that likes to change masks a couple times a day, so I like to have them in there as well. So that is kind of the basics of the things that we find important. Again, I know everybody has their own map to success when it comes to like packing for on the floor at Comic-Con and what they bring. So as I said, I suggest check out the comments. Also feel free to add to the comments anything that you feel like, hey, this is something that's really important to me, or this is a place where I buy my folder. I mean, stuff like this, we just grab it off Amazon, so it's not like we have a preferred vendor or anything like that. But if you have any of those recommendations, please feel free to throw it in the comments, let people know, direct them to the video to find it. We suggest checking out our other Comic-Con prep videos and then our on the floor Comic-Con videos. We have tons, like over 100 videos, well over 100 videos, just Comic-Con for past years. If you want to see, I've seen that question a lot of, like, what's the floor look like? Well, you can get a good idea from many of our videos from past playlists, but also for 2022, we've been putting together playlists with all sorts of looks, like where we're recording now, Seaport Village, and what are the food offerings, what's open on 5th Street, SDCC tips, etc. So suggest checking those out now, and until next time, we'll see you in line somewhere.